Yes, good morning, good afternoon. For our sixth lecture, we are going to talk about teeth description. We talked about surfaces, we talked about different parts of a tooth. We talked about anatomical crown, anatomical landmarks. So for this lecture, we are going to talk about one by one. What is the importance of this lecture? Usually in your practical exam, you shall be given specimen which will be in form of a tooth that is extracted, and you shall be required to identify that particular tooth. You shall be required to give reasons why you think it is that particular tooth. And it is this lecture that is going to help you identify that particular tooth in your practical exam. We begin. Central incisor. We shall begin with maxillary teeth. These are maxillary teeth, the one we are beginning with. We are saying it is broad and flat. Broad and flat is when you look at this tooth, when many times when we are doing tooth replacement and we are replacing these front teeth, the patients will say, why are you putting for me big teeth? It is because the way how they are created, they are big, broad and flat. You can see broad and flat. Compared to the others, they are broad, meaning broad and what? And flat. At 7 years, it's when we expect this tooth to come in the oral cavity. The incisor edge is more rounded distally. We talked about we said the word distal means away from the midline. So if we say it is more rounded distally, it means it is, if at all we have this as our midline, this is our mesial and distal surface. So if this means this side is more flat, this is more at 90 degrees, but this one is less than 90 degrees, or it is more rounded distally. Yes, the incisor edge is more rounded distally. It has 4 surfaces. Which are these surfaces? We have mesial towards the midline, distal away from the midline, labial towards the lip, and palatal towards the what? The palate. But we do not have another one. It doesn't have the occlusal surface. So this one is the occlusal surface. It would have been the occlusal surface, but is not having the what? Occlusal surface. Instead, it has the incisor edge. Therefore, those ones make them 4 surfaces instead of 5 surfaces. So it has the mesial next to the midline, distal away from the midline, labial towards the lip, and the palatal towards the what? The palate. Then it also has another one. It is telling us that it has the conical root. The conical root, it means that the root is long and is 1.5 times longer than the crown. Conical root, like a cone. So these are the characteristics of the central incisor. Remember, we said the central incisor, we begin from the central incisor, as you are counting, from the central incisor. Next, after central incisor, then the next incisor is called lateral incisor. Then we go to the canine. Then when we reach premolars, we say first premolar, then another premolar, second premolar. Then we reach on the first molar, second molar, and third molar. So from there we go to the second incisor, and the second incisor we are calling it the lateral incisor. The lateral incisor is also having the same characteristic, only that for it, it is smaller than the central incisor. And for it, it is more rounded mesially. So, from the midline, we said this midline, suppose somebody has this one, what we call a diastema. So we have this one which was flat and broad, more rounded distally. But for it now, we are saying it is more rounded mesially. It is more rounded mesially. Meaning from the midline of this tooth is where it is what? More rounded. Of course, it also has a tapering root. That is the lateral incisor. We are still on maxillary teeth. Then we have canine. A canine. We are still on a maxillary canine. A maxillary canine, this is the tooth that usually is going to be having the longest root. The canine, this is the canine. It usually is the tooth which erupts, which comes last or second last. The last one, of course, will be the wisdom teeth, but the maxillary one is going to come and is going to come and finds usually when the other teeth have taken place, have taken position, and in case someone has a small jaw, it usually comes out in the form of malignment. This one is a very important tooth in our oral cavity because it has the longest root in the whole dentition, and therefore it is going to give a lot of strength to our jawbone. So what do we call it? It has one cusp. Remember what you mean by a cusp? That major elevation on the occlusal surface of a tooth. It has one cusp, and therefore it is called a cuspid. It has the lingual surface. So it has one cusp. It means one cusp. It is that one. This one. One cusp. One cusp. The lingual surface or the surface inside is flat. This is flat. It is flat. And of course we expect a syndrome. It is flat. It has the longest root. The root is long. If you are going to remove this tooth, you're going to find it very long. Very longest root of all the teeth in the oral cavity. And the labial aspect, it is convex. It appears like that, convex in shape, if this is the labial surface. Labial surface. All these are very important landmarks when you are doing this teeth identification. Thank you. We have the first premolar. The first premolar is where we are going. The premolars, as I said before, they are called bicuspids because they have two cusps. On our model here, we shall find the cusps, this one and this one and this one and this one and this. To remind you, in our previous lecture, we said premolars are never in a primary dentition. But in a permanent dentition, we have these premolars. And therefore, we shall say the premolar here is a bicuspid. So we are saying the first premolar. So the first premolar is small. The first premolar is the smallest premolar of all surfaces. That is the first maxillary premolar. It has 5 surfaces because it has the mesial, distal, labial, and the palatal. But on top of that, it has the occlusal surface. We are going to find a very unique thing. Smallest 5 surfaces, then also the lingual surface is shorter. We shall find that it has 2 things that is so special on the first premolar. The first premolar is going to have 2 cusps. Two cusps. It has 2 cusps, meaning they have that side and we have another one. Meaning when you are looking at this tooth, it has this cusp, the buccal cusp towards the cheek, and the palatal cusp, inside one palatal towards the what? The buccal, and we have also what? The palatal. We also have 2 roots. The one towards, we have 2 roots. The one towards the one towards the cheek, and the one towards the what? The palate. Those are 2 important what? Things. Meaning, we shall have 2 things. We shall have 2 things. 2 things about this premolar. Other premolars will not be having 2 roots. But for these premolars, we are going to find for them they have what? 2 roots. Other premolars will be having 1 root, but these premolars will be having what? 1 root. Of course, for all premolars, they are going to be having 2 cusps. But the one unique thing about this first premolar, it has 2 roots. Meaning, it's going to, when you are extracting this tooth, you should be careful about how it is going to be what? To be removed. Yes. Another one is the second, before we go to that one, Mr. Fire, these cusps are not of the same size. The palatal has a longer cusp than the what? The labial has a longer cusp than the what? Than the palatal. That is a very important difference. The second premolar is having 2 cusps, but these cusps are of almost the same equal size. Another one, the cusp has this second premolar has what? 1 root, and of course the central fissure. So now a question can come, even in your theory, that what is the difference between a 1-5 and a 1-4? Or it can come as, what is the difference between a 2-5 and a 2-4? So the difference number one is a 1-5 has 2 roots, has 1 root rather, and this one has 1 root. All of them have cusps, but the cusps of this one are not the same size, but the cusps of the premolar are of the same size. That is a very important difference. Let's go to the molar. The first molar is the largest tooth in the whole maxilla. Very important, largest tooth. It has 4 cusps. We talked about cusps. It has 4 cusps. 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 3 roots. I need to explain that one very well. It has 3 roots, meaning one root is like that, and another root is so one root is towards the parrot, and the 2 roots are towards the what? The cheek. So in other words, we have 1 palatal root and 2 buccal roots. This one is important. It means that we have 2 roots towards the cheek and 1 root towards the parrot. It means that if in case we need a forceps to remove this tooth, we shall need a forceps which will hold in this area. We call this area where the 2 roots separate, we call it a furcation. We need a forceps which will hold into a furcation and weaken this tooth as we are shaking and remove it around this area. So it means that a forceps which removes this side cannot remove the other side. It means a forceps which removes this side, a tooth in the left side cannot remove a tooth in the left side, because the moment I change this one to the other side, it will become different. Mananga, you take these children away. Go away. As if you don't know what I'm doing. You go away. It means that the moment you are to remove the tooth in the right side, it is different from how you're going to remove it in the left side, because you shall need a forceps, of course a forceps which is going to be having a beak. So this beak is going to hold in this area. So as hold is in this area, you need to pull it down. So this forceps cannot remove this side, because now when you put this side, it will be now in the palatal side, not in the buccal side as it was in the what? In the left side. So it means that this one is very important, and because of this is where you shall find some forceps are going to be called upper left molar forceps, and others are called upper right molar forceps. This one is very important anatomical landmark. Sometimes you are presented with this tooth, but whenever you find a molar with 3 roots, you just know that is an upper what? An upper molar. The cusps are what? Are 4. Of course, surfaces are 5, because we shall have mesial, distal, occlusal, palatal, and buccal surfaces. So, in case you are presented with such a specimen and they say identify this specimen, of course, you are going to say the specimen is 1, 2, 3. This is of course what? 3 roots, and this is an upper molar How many cusps? 4 cusps. This is around 4 cusps. This is what? An upper molar. Alright. Second to that, or next to that, is a second maxillary molar. Second maxillary molar is similar, but the problem, it is smaller. For the roots, whereas you have divergent roots, for them the roots are a bit what? Less divergent. Less divergent. Similar, we shall have the third molar, which is almost the same, but the difference is for it is smaller than the other one. Meaning you need to get these ones very careful, that for upper molars we shall have 3 roots, mainly 2 towards the cheek, that is what? Buccal, and 1 towards the palate, that is what? Palate. Then the cusps, of course, they are 4, and of course, in case you want to know the 2 roots, one, those towards the cheek, with that, those are buccal. We can call it mesiobuccal and distobuccal. But all the 2 are buccal roots. We need to go to the mandibular teeth. Mandibular teeth. Mandibular teeth. Mandibular teeth, there are of course teeth in the mandibular arch. In the mandibular arch. And the first one is the central incisor, like we had. Central incisor. Central incisor. Central incisor is the smallest in the human dentition. Central incisor. Unfortunately, for this one, the central incisor, one of them is lost, but at least you can see one here, which you can be able to see. It is the smallest in what? In the dentition. The incisor edge also is straight and has a single conical root. Whereas for the upper one, the central incisor was larger than the lateral incisor. For the lower one, the lateral incisor is larger than the central incisor. So that one makes the what? The difference. The canine also is a cuspid. It is a cuspid. We shall find it similar with the maxillary canine, but the only challenge is we talked about the syndrome, or what we talked about, the convexity at the cervical third of the lingual surface of either a canine or an incisor. The convexity here. We are saying the convexity for a lower canine is less developed as the maxillary what? Canine. For the mandibular canine, the convexity is not well developed as the what? As the maxillary canine. But they are similar. Thank you. So now we go to the premolar. We talked about the maxillary premolar. We said the maxillary premolar, they are the premolars. Of course, they have to be having 2 cusps. We said that cusp, one is buccal, another one is what? Palatal. And has two roots for the first premolar. And the second premolar, it has 1 root. And we said the cusps are the same level for the second premolar, but for the first premolar, they are what? They are not of the same level. But here, we are saying for all the premolars, the first premolar down is the smallest. Of course, surfaces. Like the upper premolars, it has 1 root. The second premolar. Second premolar is larger than the first premolar, also what? 1 root. So it means that here, this first premolar, of course, mandibular, I'm either talking about a 3, 4, or a 4-4. So we are saying even these ones, for the first premolars up, they had 2 roots, but these ones 1 root. Even the second premolars, they're having what? 1 root. So an objective question can come saying, which of the following has 1 root? So in case you have any tooth, which is the first maxillary molar among the options, it will be what? The first maxillary premolar among the options, it will be the tooth with the 2 roots. In other words, an example, in case we have which of the following has the 2 roots, and they give you 1, 4, 1, 4, another one 3, 4, another one 3, 5, another one 4, maybe 4, can be 2, 6. So starting from this one, this is a maxillary molar. You said the maxillary molars have 3 roots, 2 buccal and 1 palatal. This one is not there. It's the wrong answer. This one is a maxillary, is a mandibular premolar. We said all mandibular premolars have 1 root, 1 root. This one is a mandibular premolar, first premolar, also 1 root. And this one is the answer because we said this one has what? 2 roots. From here, we shall make a conclusion, and we say, after making this conclusion, we shall say all premolars have 1 root, except the first maxillary premolar. All premolars have 1 root, except the first maxillary premolar, meaning except a 1, 4 and 2, 4. These are the ones with the 2 roots. But a 2, 5, a 1, 5, a 3, 4, a 3, 5, a 4, 4, and a 4, 5. All these ones, they have 1 root, 1 root, 1 root, 1 root, 1 root, 1 root. Of course, cusps are 2. Lastly, we shall talk about the mandibular molar. The mandibular molar is a tooth which is very important, a tooth which is used in chewing, a tooth which is very important, and it has 5 surfaces. It has 5 surfaces, meaning we have buccal towards the cheek, lingual towards the tongue, mesial towards the midline, distal away from the midline, and of course what? Occlusal. 5 surfaces. It has 2 roots, major 2 roots. 1 towards the midline, what we call mesial, and this one distal. So in case you are maybe extracting a tooth, you shall need a forceps to hold in this furcation area. So it means that if at all we have such as our tooth, we have one towards the away from the midline, whether towards the midline and away from the what? The midline. It means we have a forceps which needs to be to hold in the furcation. And it means that such a forceps can also move from this side and also hold the what? The furcation. So when we are talking about forceps, we shall not have the left forceps or right forceps, because a forceps which can hold in the furcation here, since it's a mesial distal, can also hold in this side mesial and distal. So for that reason, we shall say we do not have left or right forceps. It will be a mandibular or a molar, a lower molar forceps. So here we shall say the major, we have 2 roots and 5 cusps. Sometimes a question can come saying identify specimen. So whenever you see a tooth which is broad like this with 2 roots, we shall know that this is a mandibular what? Molar or a lower molar. Reason, 5 cusps. And 5 cusps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cusps and 2 roots. And of course 5 surfaces. But these are the major ones. It means that what this one is the same as the second molar. It's the same as the second molar. And also it's the same as the third molar. But we have only one difference. The difference we shall have with the third molar is that these ones, this or the third molar or this wisdom tooth, the roots curve distal. We shall have roots curved like that. There are 2 roots, yes, but the tooth curve what? Distally. So this presentation is going to help us identify teeth. It is going to help us when you are removing teeth, to help you that I've removed part of a tooth and and one part is also what? Remaining. It is also going to help you in your possible exam. It is also going to help you in identifying these teeth very well. In case you have not subscribed, please kindly subscribe, share and like. In case of any questions, you can comment on our comments on the YouTube, or you can send a WhatsApp. These ones should be very clear. Thank you so much for watching.